Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. So I know it's been a while, but I'm back. So today I kind of wanted to have a serious conversation about some things that I feel like aren't really talked about a lot on platforms like this. I wanted to talk to my ladies about birth control, emergency contraceptives, and abortion. So I'm gonna give my disclaimer now. If you are a pro-lifer or super duper religious or anything in that nature, this probably is not the video for you. I'm gonna be honest with you and tell you now, I'm probably gonna have a lot to say that you are going to dislike or disagree with, so continue at your own risk, sweetheart. Now, for the rest of you, I just wanna let you know that I'm going to be keeping it extremely candid with you guys and giving you guys my honest opinion. I am 27 years old and have been sexually active for 9 years. For about 3 of those years, I was on birth control. I have tried a few different kinds of birth control. I started out with the Depo shot. My mom actually had told me that she got pregnant twice on the pill. So initially I was not trying to hear anything about the pill. So the next thing that they suggested to me was the Depo shot, which at the time seemed like the perfect option because you only have to get it, every now and again. It's not as tedious as trying to keep up with the pill every day, So I did decide to do the Depo shot. I was one of those people that had the worst experience on Depo. I think I ended up finding out that it was basically having like a poisonous reaction to my body, which is why it had me like all out of whack. So when I got on it, I was like 145 pounds. In 3 months, I weighed like 178. Yeah, okay. I got all the way up to like 183 while I was on Depo, and I'm only 5'4". I'm not that tall, so that was like extremely big for me. I bled every day for 3 months straight. Every single day for 3 months straight, which I guess was a great birth control because I wasn't getting any. I was bleeding, obviously, but it definitely took a hell of a toll on my body, and it just wasn't worth it, in my opinion. My physician at the time was telling me that sometimes it just takes Depo a while to, I guess, like work with your body. So she suggested that I stay on it for a year before I decided whether or not I liked it. So I did, and it was easily the worst year of my life. The mood swings were out of control. I was eating out of control. I'm saying day in and day out, eating the most ridiculous stuff, things I didn't even really eat. My energy was low, my productivity was low, obviously, because I was just so big. I was sluggish, I was lethargic all the time. I was nauseous most of the time. Like any little thing would make me nauseous. It really just wasn't a good experience. I do know some women that had a great experience on Depo. I just wasn't one of those women. It just was not a good experience for me. So after I did the year of Depo and I figured out that I was just gonna keep bleeding if I kept taking it, I decided to go over to the pill. Now I could have done the IUD option, but I wanna say the same year that I switched was when that crazy story came out about that girl who had a baby with the IUD, and like the baby, I don't know if the baby came out with the IUD or like they found it after the fact in her placenta or something like that, but it was something crazy. So I was like, yeah, no thanks. So I did the pill for a while. The pill was okay in comparison. I definitely didn't have as much spotting. I was able to use finesse the packs a few times to like skip a period or whatever, but it wasn't worth it because when I finally had it, it was hell. The whole purpose of birth control is to basically trick your body into thinking you're already pregnant and that you're just constantly pregnant. So for me, those mood swings, the heightened emotions, the sensitivity of smell, sensitivity to taste, all that kind of stuff, it was just too much for me to try to deal with. And then really just the emotion, like I was having so many angry outbursts. I just remember that part of my life being so filled with rage. Like I just felt like I was angry all the time, either angry or sad or depressed. Like it was just all the time. So it wasn't the best experience for me, but I didn't get pregnant on it. So I guess it wasn't a complete fail. But after I was on that for about 1.5 years, I decided that I actually wanted to start looking into some options outside of birth control because it just wasn't working out. Like I didn't like how I was acting, I didn't like how I was behaving, and I really didn't like how I looked. It was giving me acne, just all this stuff that I didn't have prior to. So I started doing some research, and I went to talk to a specialist who specializes in like holistic medicine and stuff like that. And she was the first doctor. She was the first person, and I was 25 at the time, to mention to me that I needed to start tracking my ovulation date. Now, let's get into the next topic, ovulation. For all my ladies who were like me, who had multiple women in their lives, but did not have one person to break down to them how your whole period cycle even worked, I'm here for you, okay? Because I know how it feels. Nobody told me anything about ovulation. Honestly, the only conversation that I had about my period was when I got it, and my mom basically just told me, like, you're gonna bleed once a month for the rest of your life. And that was pretty much the whole conversation. Nobody had a conversation with me about eggs. Nobody had a conversation with me about ovulation. Nobody had a conversation with me about sperm. Of course, we talked about all of these things for one semester in middle school when I took sex ed. I didn't even take sex ed in high school. I don't even think they had it. Yeah, so with that being said, ovulation. If you are trying not to get pregnant, the only thing that you need to know is how to figure out when you're ovulating, okay? I figured out how to track my ovulation by using a period tracker. There are tons of period trackers, you know, just go to Google, or your app store or whatever and type it in. Whichever one, just pick it. As you log your period, it'll kind of help you, it'll give you a general idea of when they think your ovulation date is based on the length of your periods. Now me, I have irregular periods, but for most people, they have the same 28, 29, 30-day cycle every single cycle. So here's just a little bit of facts. Women can only get pregnant when they're ovulating. In an entire 28 to 32 day cycle, you only ovulate one day. Narrowing down that one day is a little bit difficult in my experience, so I tell myself that I ovulate 3 days out of every month, or I just have 3 no days. The day that I'm ovulating, the day before, and the day after. It's just a no-go. We're not getting down, we're not doing nothing for these 3 days. Because this is the danger zone, right? Outside of these days, you can't get pregnant. You cannot get pregnant if you are not ovulating. So that's really the answer to it all. Find out when you're ovulating, you can find out how to not get pregnant. It's literally that simple. They also have tests. You can go to your doctor. You can go get them at Walmart, at the store, where you can test if you're ovulating. If you just want to know for sure, this is the day that I ovulate every month. You can test it, and you can know for sure. And then you can know for sure that outside of that danger zone, girl, you're good. I promise you, you're good. So now with that being said, now that you guys know a little something about your eggs and ovulating, let's talk about some plan B options, okay? So sometimes you get in a pickle, you mess up, you make a mistake. It happens to everybody. It's really not a big deal. If nobody's ever told you, I'm gonna tell you, baby, it's not a big deal. It's not. It happens to everyone who has an active sex life. Sometimes you mess up. Go get a plan B. I'm gonna give you an honest review as somebody who has taken more than one. Okay, it hasn't just been a bunch, but it's been a couple, so I know. Take it. The most that's gonna happen is you're gonna have a little bit of cramps. Some women experience spotting at the time. Some women experience delayed periods. Most of the time, in my experience, I had a couple cramps the day of, and my period might be a day or two late. Maybe. Take it. Take it like it says, within the first 24 to 72 hours of taking it. Please pay attention to the loopholes. So I know for sure with Plan B, and I want to say Take Action as well, the one pill is only advised for women under 180 pounds. Once you go over 180 pounds, I think they do advise that you take 2 to make sure that it works. I didn't know that at one point in time. So that's just a little nugget for you guys. It does not work for everybody. If you are ovulating the day that you take it, it probably won't work. Because if you take it while you're ovulating, there is a large chance that it won't work. Now, let's get into the tough topic, abortions. Now, I know that we live in a society where it's super hush-hush and nobody talks about it, and you're just damned to hell if you do it because you're a murderer now and you're a horrible person. But I'm here to tell you, don't listen to any of that. If those are your personal opinions, that as soon as conception happens, it's a life, I respect that. I'm not here to change your mind, but I do disagree with you. Abortions are a very sensitive topic to talk about with women. No matter the circumstances, I do not think that an abortion is an easy decision to make for any woman. I don't. So please understand the strength that is behind making a decision like that. And if you have made a decision like that, or if you're thinking about making a decision like that, I am here to tell you that you are stronger than most people. In my opinion, choosing to have a baby just because you don't want people to look at you different is the most selfish thing that you can do. Most of these men are not father material, not yet. I feel like I am the product of two parents who just did what they felt like they were supposed to do. I'm also in my late 20s just trying to figure out my own body, because I don't even think my mom figured out her own body to really even be able to tell me anything. My mom told me almost every day how growing up, she said she would never have kids so that she could travel the world for the rest of her life. It made me hate myself growing up. And it made me feel ridiculously indebted to my mother growing up. I felt guilty. I carried the burden of her decision my entire life. I just felt like I had to give and give and give and just make up for the fact that I took her away from the life that she wanted. In reality, she made that choice. I didn't. But it just makes me think about what you have to be going through to birth a child and have a child. And then sit there and look at that child, and the first thing you think is, back in the day, I said I would never have you. Come on. That wasn't fair to me. That wasn't fair to her. And that's not fair to these children. I know too many moms who don't even deal with their kids. They shove their kids off in a room somewhere and just put a phone or a TV in their face. And I'm sorry, I know this seems harsh, but somebody needs to say it, right? We have to start taking more responsibility as women to make better decisions. Okay, so here in America, we have two types of abortions, medical and surgical abortions. From my understanding, you can have a medical abortion up to 9 weeks, and then after that, you have to have a surgical abortion. Now, from what I've read, neither are that bad. Like, the surgical abortion, I actually read a post the other day, or I think it was on TikTok, where a girl said she was like in and out of there in like an hour. She literally said, you go in a room, you lay down, there's like a TV on the ceiling to distract you. I'm assuming they give you some type of numbing pain. She didn't say that, but I hope they do. And our medical abortions are an abortion in the form of a pill. There are a few different variations of the medical abortions from what I've read. There are some where you take a pill in the beginning and then you take pills in your cheeks. There are others where you take a pill in the beginning and then you take pills buccally, so like through the vagina. Both, from what I understand, are just chemicals that activate the releasing of the uterine lining. You release the cells, basically have a period, and you're done. The girl said with the surgical abortion, she didn't even bleed afterwards. She was in there for an hour, had like a little spotting for an hour afterwards, and then she was fine. Which is nuts to me, but this is information that needs to be out there. I know that there are women who need to know this. There are women who feel trapped and feel like they just have to make decisions because nobody will talk to them, nobody will help them, nobody will encourage them, nobody will tell them you're doing the best thing that's for you. I'm here to tell you, it is okay. You have options, just get on the internet, look it up. You know what's best for you more than anybody else knows what's best for you. And because you're gonna be somebody's mama, you also know what's best for that baby. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. We deserve better, okay? We deserve to have babies on purpose. We deserve to plan our pregnancies. We deserve to have a husband before a child. We deserve to find love, to know love, to recognize love before we have to give it to someone else. We deserve to have happy pregnancies. We deserve for our children to have happy childhood. So with that being said, I really hope that I said something to help somebody. I really, if you're going through it right now, I really want you to take some time to just think about it, not with any outside sources. Don't read anything on the internet. Listen to you. We have to start being more responsible as a people, period. We're not gonna get any better if we don't. Nobody's giving it out to us. In case anybody hasn't noticed, we gotta tighten up as a people. So I love you. With that being said, you're strong, whoever you are and whatever you're going through and whatever you decide. Mamas, you're strong. Shout out to you. And all the women who are not ready to be moms yet, you're strong. And that's what's important. So thank you guys for tuning in to yet another video on my channel. I really hope this was helpful. If you have any questions for me, you can leave them down in my comment box, or you can DM me on Instagram, which is The Official Velvet, or Twitter, which is She Is Velvet. If you want to keep it a little bit more private and just want to let some things off your chest, I'm totally here to talk to you guys about whatever. I'm not judgmental. I'm not biased about anything. I get it. Trust me. We be in love. We want to have babies with the people we're in love with, but I'm going to be that logical older sister to talk about the real with you at the end of the day. Like, okay, for real, what's our financial plan then if you're gonna have a baby? Girl, how much are diapers? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get down to it, because that's how we gotta start thinking. So if you need somebody to talk to, please do not hesitate to DM me. Don't forget to like this video if you made it all the way here. I know this is probably long. And subscribe to my channel, if you're into that sort of thing. And once again, thank you so much. See you guys in my next video.